I now welcome each and every one present here as we move on to the first talk session of Conference 2023. Mr. K. Ganesh Iyer manages the most complex engineering challenges in India today. Because L&T is involved in some of the biggest public infrastructure projects in India, the diversity of challenges is unimaginable. And we are fortunate to have the man who heads the operations of L&T and all of its projects with us today. In order to comprehend the significance of sustainable infrastructure for economic development and to be aware of the difficulties associated with sustainable infrastructure in India, I invite Mr. K. Ganesh Iyer, Head of Bridges and Metros Department, L&T Infrastructure Engineering Limited, to enlighten us with his knowledge.
I am pleasantly delighted to be in front of you. Before I sincerely tell my thanks to the construction philosophy organizers and the organizers of Conference 2023, especially to Mr. Nebu Abraham, who had invited me to be in front of you and to share my thoughts about the sustainable infrastructure and its role in the economic development of India, particular to India. And as Nebu was telling, I had been here when the CP was launched at that time, about 4-5 years back. Now again I am back and I am very much delighted to be part of that magazine. This sustainable infrastructure is a very wide and profound topic, as all of you know. There are various means to achieve this sustainability. In any of the projects which we see, the sustainability can be achieved in different means. Topic is very wide. But since the relevance of that one is more towards the transportation infrastructure, I will confine myself within that area because it is close to me. And as Bhaira Sahab was telling, he was talking about, okay, in the general sense he was telling, he has set the context already for this sustainable infrastructure. He was talking about the availability of materials, different kind of materials, how it can be given back after 50 years of time. Everything comes under the large gamut of sustainability in whatever we are making. And see, across the globe, if you say all the countries are very seriously looking forward and had implemented also. In a lot of places they have implemented sustainability in the infrastructure. And that the sustainability in infrastructure also shows how responsible a country, because we are taking a lot of things from the nature, and how best we can give it back to the nature without altering its constituents. That is what it means. So I'll just go through a few slides which I thought that it is relevant to the topic. And since as I told you, the topic is very wide and profound, there can be a lot of other streams also will join in the course of the discussion. We will have a lot of things to join. So we'll just move forward. The agenda of this talk, I just wanted to take it like this, that first I will just introduce what is a infrastructure everybody knows, but what is a sustainable infrastructure, that we just consider what is sustainability in infrastructure, and what is the principle and elements of sustainability, mainly that we will see. Then what is the core elements, what it stands for, infrastructure, the sustainability infrastructure, what it stands for, we'll just see. Then what is its relevance to the transportation infrastructure, how we can make it work. And what all the pointers of economic development because of this, see, as all of you know, the infrastructure itself is a pointer to the economic development of the country. But what does it mean to have a sustainable infrastructure as a pointer to the economic development? That is what we'll see. This UNEP, UN Environment Program, they have given a very apt and very concise definition for sustainable infrastructure. It is like this, it goes like this. those that are planned, designed, constructed, operated, decommissioned in a manner that ensures economic and financial, social, environmental, and institutional sustainability. See, just to explain this one, we may be thinking what it can do at the planning stage itself. Definitely it can do. I'll just tell you, of the projects which I had been looking off late, mainly the highway projects, surprisingly I came to see that we had seen that there are a lot of vehicular underpasses are there, foot overbridges are there, concerning only the humans. But I had seen some projects where there are animal underpasses are there and reptile underpasses are there. So that shows that at the planning stage itself, how we are close to, how far we are close to how much we are close to the nature. That will get reflected when you plan the infrastructure itself. So that is one way of looking at things, that how sustainable that infrastructure is going to be. Design, then after the planning, the design stage comes. Design is mainly how well, like Barasa was telling, that how well it goes with the environment, how well it is absorbed in the environment itself. That is where the design comes into picture. And constructed, this is the place where we need to have very, very rigorous thrust is required at this construction aspect of infrastructure. Some 85% of the construction cost goes in the material itself. So how far we can optimize? One is the optimization of the material, that is commonly known to everybody, and how far we are taking those materials from the nature without disturbing the nature. That is what the construction materials is all about. And the methodology, how it is going to be constructed without affecting the normal life in a city. If it is a city, how it is being constructed without affecting the normal life in the city. That is the methodology of construction. So this construction encompasses the material as well as the methodology what is being adopted. Another very relevant point is how it is getting decommissioned. Once, just assume that an infrastructure is built for 100 years and it is going to be lifeless, or it is going to finish its life after 100 years of service. How are we going to give back that one to the nature? Because we have taken a lot of things from nature. How best we are going to give back to the nature after the life of the structure? Without altering. We are taking like cement. If you see cement, we are taking a lot of materials, natural materials from the nature, and how best we can give back to the nature without altering the system. That is how it is a decommission is thought about. With all this facility of infrastructure, which is built for the mankind, human mankind, how it is going to improve the economic and financial situation of one city where it is planned. That is very important. How it is going to give you a benefit, economic benefit, how it is going to give. The next one is that social, how it is going to impact the society as a whole. So that is why there is a concept called a public hearing. As all of you know, before launching a big project, we will have a public hearing that you have to take along with the planners. We have to take the society as a whole. So how the facility, how far is the reach of this facility to the society is what which makes it more sustainable. That is the other thing. And environmental, as that is a thing which is now widely talked about, is about the environmental impact of whatever structure we are going to make. And all these things as a whole bundle is what UNEP is terming it as a sustainable. If you can follow all these things one by one in that order, then UNEP agrees that okay, that is a structure which is built as per the sustainable criteria. Why we need we are having infrastructure that is known. Why it has to be termed as a sustainable infrastructure? There is only a very limited source of material available in this whole nature. So how far we are going to take those materials without altering the composition, because anyway, man cannot make any material by his own. So we are going to take everything from nature only. But how far we are going to use it as such from the nature. That is what it means, that it is scarcity of resources. So we have got only a limited supply of the resources. How best we can utilize the thing for the maximum usage, how we can make. Next one is that over exploitation of nature. This indiscriminate usage of nature is what is all about regarding the sustainable infrastructure. We should be mindful of what we are going to, how we are going to use the nature as such. Are we over exploiting? Are we going to indiscriminately use the environment? So that makes the sustainability very relevant for this present world. Finally, we have to see a balance between the nature and between what we are making. There should be some balance. We cannot over-exploit the nature. So that makes the sustainable infrastructure relevant. And then comes the climate change. The more you exploit, the nature will show its true color that we had seen in a lot of places, that how it is affecting even in the Himalayan ranges, where we see a lot of earthquakes and other natural calamities we are seeing, all because of this climate change and over-exploitation of the thing. So how we are going to make this sustainable infrastructure is more relevant at this point of time. Finally, what are the benefits we will get from sustainable? There are 4-5 benefits which are as per the UNEP. There are so many benefits are there. These are all the 4 benefits which you will get from sustainable infrastructure. In all these 4 benefits, what we are going to derive from sustainable infrastructure, few things which in fact the transportation infrastructure as a whole, fraternity of civil engineering as a whole, if you see is the economic benefits what we get, mainly this resource efficiency, energy efficiency, global energy issues, environmental protection, all these things comes under the umbrella of construction. And inclusive development of a society. The development of the development should reach all the strata of the society. That is what it means, that inclusive development. And what is the financial benefits we are going to reap from this sustainable infrastructure? That also plays a major role. These are all the benefits we will get from the sustainable infrastructure, implementation of sustainable infrastructure development. Before implementing any infrastructure, sustainable infrastructure, there are few principles which all the countries are nowadays following. Mainly, people, for all our infrastructure is aimed at people, and of course the nature as a whole. So how people are going to get the benefited, how planet as a whole is going to get benefited, and what is the profit and what is the value it is going to create. That structure, what is the value it is going to create in this system. That is, these 3 encompasses the principle of sustainability. There are 3 core elements of sustainability when we talk about transportation infrastructure. We look forward. Now, if you see, there are a lot of projects which are coming in India itself. I'll go to those slides when I discuss economic and financial part of the presentation. A lot of investments. So, how we are going to utilize that one? By improving the environmental condition, improving the economic condition, and improving the society as a social benefits. What are the social benefits we are going to get after implementing this infrastructure? So, all these things, if we ensure that these elements are met, then we can tell that, okay, this is now going towards the sustainable infrastructure condition. This environmental sustainability mainly comprising of sustainable forestry, water management, sustainable agriculture, efficient lighting, sustainability in construction, renewable energy, zero waste. So there are few things, this is the general sustainability examples of environmental sustainability. Out of this, maybe construction is most relevant to us as per the topic. This is the most relevant thing, that sustainable construction, how it is being practiced right now in the industry, I will explain to you one by one. Economic sustainability is known how it can be we have to mainly focus on how the economic condition can be improved for the whole, all the segments of the society, how it can be improved. Then it will be well accepted, that infrastructure will be well accepted to the society as a whole. So, and the investment what is made for the infrastructure is equally distributed to all the segments of the society. That makes it, that is also called green economy, that makes it more sustainable. And there are some sustainable business practices are there. Each of these things, when it is practiced, this is given by UNEP, actually United Nations have given all these sustainable practices. If each one of these are practiced within our business, we can ensure that sustainability is achieved. Out of this, if you see transportation is energy use, greenhouse emission, waste reduction, and how the product is designed for life cycle, how it can be recycled, how it can be reused, whatever, and how to maximize the life cycle of a project for a bridge. For me, I'll tell us a bridge or whatever structure we are making, how to maximize the life cycle of all these things comprising of the sustainable practices in business. Being talked about regarding a general talk about the sustainability, at that time I was telling you that 85% of our construction cost goes into the materials as well as these machineries what we deploy. So to make a project sustainable, you should have the maximum naturally available material has to be used. And what all the materials you are going to use, that I'll come to that one. There's concrete we are using, steel we are using, aggregates we are using, lot of, because concrete is the main thing what we use in the infrastructure. How to make it green, how to make a green concrete. Another one is that there are a lot of byproducts which are being generated by different factories. Different factories have got a lot of byproducts, chemical factories. There are a lot of byproducts which are coming out from the chemical processes, and that is going waste. How to reuse those byproducts into our construction industry is another topic which can improve this sustainability of a structure what we are making. As I told you, the one biggest material what we use in the construction industry is concrete. If we can attend to the how to make that one green, then most of our problem is solved regarding the sustainability. And for the concrete, as you know, the cement is the main content, and 10% of, you will be surprised to know that 10% of the carbon dioxide emission is coming from the cement production itself, because of the burning of fossil fuel and thermal decomposition of the calcium carbonate. So this is the main this carbon dioxide emission for the concrete material, and that is a single one item. If you take it as cement production, that is ranking in the third for the carbon dioxide emission. So once we start cutting down this carbon dioxide emission, then that makes it more sustainable. So how to make the concrete green? These are all the various ways now it is practiced in the industry. maybe the doyens of the industry will be with me when this is being discussed. Fly ash is now used as an admixture in the concrete, and GGBS, which is from the iron slag, which is going as a waste about 30 kg or something like that, if somebody can tell that one, which is being replaced as part of the cement. And silica fumes, all these things, and limestone fines, all these things are the cement substitute, fine substitute. That is, if you are talking about a high grade concrete which requires about 450 kg per cubic meter of concrete as the cement content, we can replace about 150 kg with all these substitutes, which can reduce the usage of cement without changing the property of the concrete as such. So this is one way of looking at how to make the green concrete. Next, natural resource what we are over exploiting, to say like that, is the aggregate. So once we got a idea of how to have a substitution for aggregates also, there are various studies are being going on in different universities regarding the aggregate substitutes. A lot of PhDs have been awarded for finding out the aggregate substitutes. Rubber is a very good substitute for the aggregate. Glass is there, broken glass pieces, and other plastic materials which are bio non-degradable. Expanded polystyrene, again bio non-degradable. Rice husk, sawdust, groundnut shell, etc. There are n number of products which can be substituted without compromising on the strength of concrete, which makes the concrete green. And I tell you now, a lot of projects are now contract documents have been written. The Government of India and state governments are making a lot of changes in the contract documents so that all these things are facilitated, all these substitutes are facilitated. Now, what is our vision? What is India's vision? How it aligns with the infrastructure, sustainable infrastructure development, and how that is pointing towards the economic development of the country. I will concentrate mainly on the budget, the recent budget 23-24. Very ambitious vision. India government has got a very ambitious vision of making a sustainable development. Mainly it is into four, it's a general vision statement only. It is governance and healthcare, education, built environment and resources, and transportation. See, if in that vision, if transportation is there in their vision, India government's vision, that you know that how much concentration, how much importance they are going to give for the transportation development. It is at par with the healthcare. So you can just assume that what is the development they are going to make in transport infrastructure. Mainly tier 2 and tier 3 cities, development is going to come. Everywhere the metros are coming up. So I'll just go one by one to see what is the development in transport infrastructure which is going to come. And once there is a development, then there we should look for how to make it more sustainable, more green, how to make it more adaptable. All these things are where we planners have to look into. With that vision statement, government has come out with the outcome, the benefits what we are going to get is that many cities will see improved quality of life. And delivery of integrated infrastructure. That I think you will appreciate the last mile connectivity. Now we have got a lot of projects which are coming up, like bullet train which I am associated with right now, and there are a lot of metro works which are coming out. When the last mile connectivity is absent, then you will not get acceptability in the community. So the last mile connectivity is what they are talking about, integrated infrastructure development. Along with that, different modes, how to integrate different modes of transport. All these things are covered in the integrated structure. And for the smart cities, now that is the main impetus what government is having in front of them, that 16,000 crores of allocation for the new initiatives for sustainable cities for tomorrow. So that is all that smart city developments what they are telling, self-sustained cities, which is self-sustained, that they are developing. And tier 2 and tier 3 cities are where the new development which can happen. So there are a lot of scope for making an environment friendly structure. And as earlier I had mentioned, when the society at a large will get benefited, what I meant is of two things. One is the facility what is being given will be used to be all the stratum of the society. That is one thing. Second thing is that locally available products and the resources will be used to the maximum, so that the local people and the local community will get an employment. There is a way of employment generation, which is also termed as a sustainable development. Acceptability of the infrastructure will be there. So that is a Make in India program that government is now seriously pursuing that one. And where we stand, where India stands, what is the advantage of our country for the development of the infrastructure? If you see, as a very fast developing nation, we are developing in a very fast manner. So there is a demand, and the ambition is that we should have a 5 trillion growth. That is, now it is 3.5 trillion USD, I think. Now within 2025, the aim is to become $5 trillion as the growth, which is at par with any of the developed countries. So we are in that path. The main pointer for the economic development is the improved transportation. That has to be ensured. Then only we will have a growth of that magnitude. If it has to be made real, we should have a robust transportation system should be there. So there are a lot of developments, as you had seen. Dedicated freight corridor is there, metros are there, bullet train is there. A lot of development is going on. A lot of highways are being built. Now ministry's ambition is to have 75 kilometers per day, which we cannot think. When about 10 years back, when this NHDP, National Development Program, Highway Development Program was happening, it was about 20 kilometers per day. That itself was very tough for us to make. Now it is 75 kilometers per day of road work is targeted right now. So a lot of developments, robust demand is there. And there are attractive opportunities are there. And what will happen with this development, you will bring in lot of investment, it will attract a lot of technocrats into the business. You will see an overall development, and in order to bring in the technology, there are a lot of MOUs are already signed. For example, now this bullet train project, fully the Japanese transfer of knowledge is happening right now. So with one project of 500 kilometers between Mumbai and Ahmedabad, the next project, maybe Delhi, Varanasi, or maybe Chennai, Bangalore, I don't know, whichever it materializes, we will have our own technology. So that makes this technology advancement also. That is an advantage now we are having. Developing country only will have that advantage actually. Then there are policy support. All these things needs to be supported by the policies of the government. And there are a lot of policy changes are there in order to facilitate the investment, as well as now you see there are 50-year interest-free loan is given to state governments for implementing all this transportation infrastructure. And this 108 lakh crores, all mind-boggling figures actually, all this money is going to be spent on, it is already spent in different stages of implementation. It's all in different stages of implementation, different projects. And in order to bring this money in, there are a lot of funding agencies are also invited, and they are also doing a lot of funding. ADB, World Bank projects, a lot of World Bank. If you see transportation infrastructure, there are ADB projects are there in Western Dedicated Freight Corridor project. World Bank funding is there in Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor project. JICA is there in, JICA is a Japanese investment and cooperative agency. and they are funding for the bullet train project. Lot of investments are coming. They are all, they want to see a sustainable growth in India, and that is why they are investing into the India. So that makes us an advantageous position. For the sustainable development of the infrastructure, there are budget allocation in this budget, the current budget. I just referring to this current budget only, just to, you may be knowing that I just brought it in front of you so that it is concise and you can appreciate that one. The total outlay is 10 lakh crores for the infrastructure, which is a 33% jump from last year. So you see how much is the importance it is given for infrastructure projects, which comprise about 3.3% of the GDP, and the 2019-20 it is 3 times. It has grown by 3 times. And 50% of 166 lakhs crore of project is for transportation sector only. And there are about 4,000 projects in road and bridge sector alone. Now you might have seen there are separate departments are being formed for northeastern province, where there are a lot of projects are coming up. So it's an overall development of the country. A lot of potential is there. It is all opening up. So what I meant to say in this one is that my idea to project all these things is that there are ample opportunities for us to grow here, and how we planners have to make it a sustainable growth. That's all. Our responsibility is only that. All other things are already made by the government. As a planner, how we are poised to take it forward as a sustainable growth. Now, railway sector, if you see, it is 2.3 lakh crore is the targeted revenue. And already 1 lakh crore revenue is August 22 is already achieved, which is 38% more. Year on year improvement is about 38% more. Huge jump. And urban freight is expected to increase by 140% for next 10 years. That is so all the logistics associated with this one, you will see lot of developments in lot of sectors. So within next 10 years, you will see 140% growth in the urban freight sector. And India is going to be the 3rd largest construction market by 2024. So that makes us more responsible. Our growth also should be very responsible. As I told earlier, a responsible growth is only measured in terms of how sustainable infrastructure you can make. That much is the responsibility which is confided within engineers ourselves. And there are 5-year plan, 12th 5-year plan is there, which is also 83 lakh crore is supposed to be spent on transportation, and 40% of this investment is going to come from private sector. This is all just information. As I was mentioning, just for your appreciation, government is very committed to the investment in infrastructure. They are going to invest a lot of money on the infrastructure. But engineers have also got a responsibility to give back to the society. How we can, but there are a lot of impediments. It's not that easy, as all of you will agree. It is not going to be that easy to implement infrastructure, sustainable infrastructure, because we are all bound by codes of practices, which shows the guidelines how to design a bridge and what all the materials you can use and what is the limitation and what is the concrete strength and other things we have got. So once we start adding, though we know there are research papers are there, as I told earlier, a lot of research papers are there, how to have a green concrete to be made. These are all the abstract of various research papers only. But how to implement that one requires a thrust from the Codal committee, which is going in different senior doyens here will agree with me that it's all in different stages of implementation. We will get it through soon. And how to make CO2 emission. So when we plan, when we design, at that time itself, we should be mindful about how to reduce the carbon dioxide emission. And the infrastructure, what is being developed, it should not be confined to a specific group of people, or it should not be confined to a particular stratum of society. It should be more uniform, equitable, what we call as equitable distribution of the asset and acceptability by the people. That should be there. And whether that is going to be having an overall development. So with that, I think I had come to the end of the presentation. And thank you very much for listening to me. And I tried to cover up most of my thoughts into that one. You'll have more inputs, which I think we'll be sharing it in the coming talks. And thank you very much for the patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for going through this profound topic and making it easy to understand the material methodologies required for construction of sustainable infrastructure without causing any material depletion. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Benny Matthews Abraham, Chairman, Indian Geotechnical Society, and Mr. Nebu Abraham to hand over the memento to Mr. M.K. Ganesh Iyer.